back, everybody, to the Triad of the Fours podcast, a podcast from Puerto Rican friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. I know it's been a minute. I've been busy. Life happens. But it's okay. It's okay. We're still here. We're talking about a movie today that's been a little bit controversial. The Man of Steel is back.
The Man of Steel is back. Holy crap. And controversial for only some people.
Right.
I think. And it's the usual suspects, right? Because
of course.
At this point it kind of feels like if they're upset, the movie's saying something
we're pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad that we're talking about it because, we've always been saying, and we said this on the last episode with Chase where we talked about Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park films. There's podcast about Star Wars and other nerd-related media. But for a while, we've kind of been not
very
doing the other nerd-related media stuff, which is fine because obviously Star Wars is our main love. But I'm kind of glad.
And Andor was out, so we had to.
Yeah.
There's no way we could have not given it all the love that it deserves. But now it's the summer. We have some blockbusters out. There's other things to talk about. So so I'm excited to talk about.
But now that you mentioned Andor, we have to do the shout out to Andor because all the Emmy nominations came out, and Andor received 14 Emmy nominations, which well deserved in all the categories that we wanted, especially with production design for Luke Hall and the team, and costume design with Michael Wilkinson and the team. Music, like all the stuff, got nominated. But the big outliers that didn't get nominated were the acting. I mean, Forrest Whitaker got one for supporting actor, if I'm not mistaken, and Alan Tudyk got one for voiceover, which great, well deserved. But
of course,
my heart aches for Genevieve O'Reilly.
Yeah,
as a best support. I mean, she should have been nominated for best actress.
Best actress, she was very much in this.
She was a co-lead. Yeah, she was a co-lead with Diego, if you ask me, and that hurt. It hurt that we kind of fell into that same trap of Star Wars only gets technical awards and not acting nods, but we'll see. At least we got all those 14, and that doesn't change the
it's still a huge accomplishment.
It is
as it is, but yeah, I feel like there should have been way more recognition for the acting because aside from the fact that yes, technologically and everything else that was involved in it was gorgeous, but there was some amazing acting going on in this series. So
but at least more we got more stuff than Andor season 1, and we can talk about that in a future episode. Like we were saying, today is about other nerd-related media, and as you were saying, the Man of Steel is back, and not Henry Cavill. We got David. What is it? Cornsweet. There we go. It's like, I hope I say it right. David Cornsweet in the red trunks, with James Gunn in the helm as the director and writer of this film, the first film of the DCU. We've had Creature Commandos, and Peacemaker, which kind of are already part of this new continuity, but it's a new film of this interconnected universe, and the first Superman movie in a long time, because we have Batman v Superman, Justice League, but those aren't Superman movies. Those are movies with Superman in it. So it's interesting to see this take of Superman. I kind of feel like we're in a horseshoe effect where we went from the Christopher Reeve films that were kind of campy and colorful and funny to gritty with Man of Steel to now kind of back to this comic book aesthetic and joy in it. So it's definitely a change and interesting to see. But before we get into the movie, I want to kind of know a little bit about your relationship with Superman. Like, has Superman been a hero that you've liked? Has did you watch the Christopher Reeve films growing up? Man of Steel, did you like Man of Steel? What was your lead up to Superman, and based on our history with the character?
Right. So Superman's actually my favorite superhero.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Somehow I did not or forgot about it.
Yeah. So it's a controversial choice because most people, especially once you get into your teenage years, and if you're talking DC, it's Batman all the way.
Obviously. Or if you're a weirdo like your brother, Aquaman.
Right. Yeah. But that's way too out there. Yeah. Sorry, Guago. No. Aquaman.
He's drowning alone with the fishes.
But yeah, but for me, it always was Superman. And I always got, a little bit criticized for it because of the campy side of it and he's just a Boy Scout. He's super overpowered. There's really nothing interesting about the character, which I will disagree with.
As you
But
should, as you
yeah,
should.
uh, it really started for me with the Christopher Reeve movies when I was growing up, because as you and I have talked about, there's different ways to be a nerd, and we've never been the super avid like comic book reader type of
Correct,
nerd.
correct.
So I never really got into all of that. I do remember when the death of Superman came out and watching
Yeah.
the actual grown-ups like crying, and being actively devastated about it, and me feeling a certain way about it, but I was still too young to know. And then the fact that he came back alive, kind of takes away from it. But when that moment happened historically, it was huge. So, but yeah, but the Christopher Reeve films, and now I can admit that 3 and 4 are terrible. 1 or 2 are still solid, but I loved all of them when I was a kid. Like, loved Christopher Reeve and Superman. And then, as the years went by, I really loved all the animated DC stuff about Superman, because I think DC has always excelled in the animation. They've also had a lot of really cool, live action ones. Like I really liked Smallville when I was in high school, and there was like the Lois and Superman one.
Yeah.
Not the current one, like the older one.
I remember my sister watching that growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's been like kind of a presence always, And then they did Superman Returns, which was the first time
Brandon
came
Routh.
back.
Yeah.
Right, which I thought was a mistake. I think their mistake was because they on purpose tried to make it a direct sequel to the second Christopher Reeve one, and then it kind of felt disjointed. And I don't know. There was something about it. I was really excited to see, Superman again in the big screen, but it didn't really hit home, that one.
Yeah.
And then obviously we got all excited about Henry Cavill, who looks so much like Superman, and everything that happened. But like you were saying, those were like so dark, and Superman, you don't necessarily have to make Superman this dark character. That's why you have Batman for, And the Zack Snyders were, I think, problematic in many ways, especially considering that, honestly, for them to make sense, you needed like the 4-hour extended editions. Otherwise.
Yes, absolutely.
So then they announced this one, and I was very skeptical.
Same.
Like, very skeptical. And when you first saw David Cornsweet, sorry, dude, I was like, no way, he is not Superman. The suit looked kind of cheap. I don't know. I was conflicted. And then the trailer came out.
I felt things in that trailer.
And I was like, oh my God. And there's Krypto. And oh my God, it's bright and beautiful. And oh, wait, but they're doing a whole bunch of characters again. Oh, they're going to fall into the same trap. They're going to overcrowd it. It's not going to make any sense. Whatever. I'm still going to watch it because I love Superman. And I was happily surprised. I was very happily surprised. I mean, it's not a perfect movie in any sense of the word, but it's fun. It's beautiful. I love that they didn't go do the origin story again. It's like, we know it. Just start somewhere that's organic, and then they kind of bring in snippets. Obviously, they conversate like the messages from the parents and all the things, but I loved it. I really love, the homage to the older suit with like the underpants come,
Trunks,
the fact that it's, that it's like bright and colorful, and they did such a great job with Metropolis, and I think Lex Luthor was fantastic. I think
Nicholas
it's been
Hoult.
one of the,
Yep.
I think it's one of the best interpretations of Lex Luthor that we've seen live action. So yeah, in general, I came out of the theater like, wow, Superman's back. So
it's fascinating because, as you were saying, I was on the opposite end of the spectrum as you growing up, where Batman was always my favorite superhero. Those Michael Keaton films always were, especially Batman Returns. Like I remember, that was like my movie growing up.
They hold up, honestly, too. The Michael Keaton ones are
100%. And and growing up, I still loved Batman Forever and Batman and Robin because they were designed for me, right? As a child growing up. Now in hindsight, when I'm just like, oh, those movies maybe not that good. So Superman never really did it for me. Like I would watch the Batman animated series, but I would not, and Batman Beyond, but I would not really watch the Superman
ones
show. Yeah, apologies for the dog barking. So Superman, really nothing.
Never resonated.
never resonated, and not
Yeah.
because he can't be a compelling character, but because, like you said, he's just boring. A Boy Scout is boring. As someone
Mhm.
that is always does the right thing is boring
Do goody
to
two
me,
shoes.
to me, to
Yeah.
me, right?
Mhm.
And when you're uber powered and you're a god and nothing can affect you, it's not compelling, right? To me,
Yeah.
and I know that's a boring argument that we can debate about because obviously
Yeah.
there are things that Superman is uh, weak in front of, and not just kryptonite. But there's other things that I know make the character complex and dynamic beyond the
Mhm.
simplification that I just
Yeah.
did, which is very generic. But it's a
A lot of
cliche
people
for a
feel that
reason.
way.
It's a cliche
Yeah.
for a reason,
Mhm.
and that's why people are drawn to Batman or to Iron Man. Because Iron Man's dealing
Mhm.
with his
The
demons
bad
and
boy. Yeah.
is
Mhm.
doing things that he has to contend with. So doesn't always do the right thing, and I think that that's a lot of people like myself are drawn to characters more like that as opposed to Superman. So that's why I was very curious to see Henry
Yeah.
Cavill's Man of Steel. Apologies for the dog. Um, because I remember watching Superman Returns and kind of feeling like, I mean, it's not a bad movie by any means. It's not a bad movie by any means. It's just boring,
Yeah.
It's just,
Mhm.
I think Brandon Ruth was great. Kevin Spacey, even though we don't like to talk
Now
about
we
him,
know he's a real villain. Yeah.
we know he's a real villain, but
Yeah.
I think he like did a good job as Lex. But doing real estate deals can only be a foil for Superman so long. It's just like, okay, like I
Yeah.
get it.
It was kind of just like a remake of the Christopher Reeves ones. Like sequel, but a remake, and it was too predictable, I think, as well.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
exactly. And it
Mhm.
failed to meet the zeitgeist in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. And I think that movies like the Christopher Reeve Superman, the Michael Keaton and Tim Burton Batmans,
Yeah.
and the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight movies, like they are superhero films, and obviously Iron Man, John Favreau's Iron Man, like they're superhero movies that are meeting a zeitgeist in our
Mhm.
culture that help define not only the film as a genre film, but also where we are as a society. And the Brandon Ruth Superman just failed to meet that because
Yeah.
it was maybe 10 years too late or something like that.
Yeah. No.
And Man of Steel I thought was interesting because it's the whole concept of Zack Snyder doing the Christopher Nolan thing. It's like, what would happen
Mhm.
if a being like that was in our real world, and how do we ground him in the same way that we grounded Batman? But it's also a tall order, because how do you ground something that is already
Yeah. He's
ungrounded?
already a Kryptonian,
It's
so
already an alien,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I have to give credit where credit's due because they did a great job. And shout out, there's the Star Wars connection. Michael Wilkinson, costume designer of Andor, was the
Mhm.
costume designer for Man of Steel. So there's our little Star Wars connection for the day. I'm sure we'll discover more as we keep talking. But yeah, Man of Steel just so bizarre. I remember talking to your brother when that movie came out and just having debates about it, because it was like all it takes of like, oh, this is a good reinvention, but also some just like, but isn't, as a non-Superman fan, isn't he supposed to not be broody? Like, isn't he supposed
Yeah.
to find hope in
Yeah.
everything and like
Yeah.
be
And he
a
actually kills
beacon?
somebody,
He
which
kills
is
somebody, and
yeah.
that's the thing that I want to really talk to when we talk about this new
Mhm.
Superman. That fight with Zod at the end, not the killing necessarily, but the whole
Mhm.
destruction of Metropolis. I'm like, is this what Superman would do? Just like,
Yeah.
I know that he's reckoning with his powers and doesn't know how to control them, and Zod is forcing him to. But those are decisions that you make as a writer. There, that
Mhm.
it's not a
It's still
character making those
choice.
decisions. It's a
Yeah.
it's a
It's a
writer
it's
making
a
those
writing
decisions.
choice. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I was just like, this just feels wrong. And it was very, like I was saying, in terms of zeitgeist, it was very of the zeitgeist, because when you look at those films, especially in a post 9/11 landscape, it's kind of like
Mhm.
it fits that narrative, but it's kind of the opposite of what we want from that character, which I feel is a reason that a lot of people, myself included, didn't connect with.
Connect with those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know that there's a lot of Snyder fans that
Yeah.
love that interpretation of Superman, and this is not a slight against Henry Cavill. I think he did the best that he could with the material that he had, and I thought he was a good Superman, and he could have
Mhm.
done better with better material. But yeah, like
Agreed.
it
Mhm.
just it just wasn't Superman. It was just kind of like it was too stoic. It felt
Yeah.
very. I don't want to say it was male fantasy driven. It wasn't about the hope for humankind. It was about male power fantasy. Like, here's this fucking
Yeah.
muscular man that just can defeat anything and
Well, yeah,
protects
and
his
it's basically
women.
trying to turn like Clark into Bruce,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
doesn't
yeah, yeah.
work. It's
Work.
it's
Yeah,
why they work as friends because they're so different from each other, and that's why
yeah.
even Batman versus Superman, it's like just the fact that both your moms are named Martha is not enough for
No, oh my
friendship to
god.
make. Like,
So
it,
we don't need to
yeah,
talk about that. That's
yeah. So
one of the worst things in cinema history, maybe.
yeah,
Um,
so
so yeah, so that's where I'm coming from going into Superman,
mhm,
and seeing James Gunn. Obviously, I've loved all the Guardians of the Galaxy
yeah,
films. I wasn't too big of a fan of the Suicide Squad, even though it was definitely a considerable improvement over
of the
Suicide
first one,
Squad.
yeah,
uh,
mhm,
but but I don't know. It's just like I just don't know about this. And then
yeah,
I was reading about all the characters, Hawk Girl and the Green
mhm,
Lantern and Mr. Terrific and
yeah.
all these things. And it's like, this is just too much. Too
Yeah,
much for
again,
the
like they
first.
already know the
Exactly.
trap. Yeah, mhm.
Exactly. So I was just like, I don't
They're doing
know.
it again.
I was like,
Mhm.
they're getting too
Yeah,
ambitious. They're trying to kickstart the universe too hard,
too
too fast, too
fast.
furious.
Mhm,
Um, and but then I saw that trailer like you did, and I was
mhm.
like, oh, like
Mm.
I felt things. I was just like, especially because they did the right call using the John Williams Superman theme
Oh,
from the original
yes.
movies.
Oh, yeah, that was the best call. And then throughout the film, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, they do that kind of like mixing it with some techno and then sometimes leaving like the
Hmm.
cleaner version of it depending on
Yeah,
when they want
or
to, and
with the
some
electric
I
guitar.
oh,
I was like,
it was
oh,
amazing.
okay.
It feels like a Superman movie, you
Yeah,
know?
and there's
Ugh.
another Star Wars connection, John Williams
Yep, John
theme
Williams.
from Superman, and I was just like, damn, that made me feel
Yep,
things. And in the trailer, that scene of the little kid in the war torn country raising the Superman
the
flag,
flag.
I was just like, oh man, this is it. And that slow motion scene of Superman coming in to save the little girl, I'm like,
Yep.
I mean, I'm not a Superman
Superman.
fan, but
Yep.
that
That's
feels right.
Superman. Mhm.
So, but still skeptical. But
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
saw a movie and I went to see the movie with my partner and our new co-host Chase. We saw it on a Dolby Cinema because we are like, well, we have to experience this in like a excellent screen with excellent sound.
Mhm.
And thank thank whatever cosmic forces out there that we decided to do that, because I loved it.
Yeah.
I surprisingly
Yeah.
fell in love with the movie. I thought that
Yeah.
everything that wasn't gonna work worked. I was a crypto skeptic. Well, crypto as in crypto the dog, not
Right.
crypto the currency.
Currency.
Eh,
The
gotta
distinction.
clarify that.
Mhm.
And I loved crypto. The whole movie was great. I thought Guy Gardner's Green Lantern was gonna be dumb. It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. He was actually hilarious. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
was worried about then how does Metamorpho come into the so good. I love. Obviously, there's things that I think were kind of not
Yeah.
not wonderful, but on the whole,
On the whole, yeah.
like especially how the movie starts. I think the movie did such a good
Yes.
job at kickstarting with like not a crawl, but with the text like 300
Yep.
years ago, the first
Yeah.
metahumans,
Yep.
30 years ago, blah blah
You
blah
go.
blah,
Mhm. 3
3
months
years
ago.
ago, three
Yeah.
minutes ago, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's so good. I was
And
like,
then
so clever to just kickstart
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. And then it's just like that crash and it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
Josbando was just like, "Thank you, James Gunn. Thank you for giving us a good start." And not the whole, "Oh, here's the parents. Here's the destruction of Krypton, getting on the ship, landing on Earth."
yeah,
It's like,
yeah, yeah.
"Thank you. We if you haven't at this point learned the Superman origin story, that's your fault."
Yeah, that's your fault. Yeah. It's like Batman's parents got killed after going to the theater one night, and the
Yeah.
pearls fall in the
Pearls
gutter. It's just,
everywhere.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's like
Yep.
if you don't know that, it's just I don't know what to tell
It's
you.
on you. Mhm.
Yeah. So needless to say, and with that point, we will be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie,
Yeah.
maybe watch this. Watch
Afterwards.
this
But do yourselves
after
a
we
favor
start.
and really go and watch it. And if you can possibly make it to an IMAX, do it.
Oh, you saw it?
Um,
You saw it in IMAX?
I didn't, but
Okay.
we did all Dolby, which is just as good. But as
Hmm.
we were seeing it, and then at the end that it says it was filmed for IMAX, I was like,
Yeah.
in IMAX, this movie has to be insane because there's certain scenes that like pocket universe scenes and stuff
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
probably look insane. So,
Well, and speaking of the pocket universe, I know we're kind of jumping
mhm,
all over the place a little bit, and obviously it's not a linear review of the movie. It's just our
mhm.
a discussion of it. So
Our take,
for
yeah,
everyone listening, this is not going to be linear. We're going to be jumping around. Uh, but that's one of the things that I thought that I was worried about watching the trailer when I saw the Mister Terrific's spaceship thing.
yeah,
And when I saw it in the trailer, I'm just like, "Oh, like this is this gonna feel like too campy because like
yeah,
it's still like our world, but then shouldn't it be like a little more grounded because this feels a
yeah,
little too
out
excuse
there,
me, a little too cartoony,
yeah,
right? From everything else, but I was surprised by how well that aesthetic worked in the film because it's the
yeah,
most comic booky film that I think I have seen in a very long time. This is
yeah,
bright, it's colorful, it
mhm,
definitely feels. I mean, I don't read comic books, but but there's a certain
yeah,
aesthetic that comic books have that this movie captures in a grounded way, even
yeah,
though that's
because
kind of
it doesn't feel
contradicting.
ridiculous,
Yeah,
you kind
exactly.
of feel like you're there even though you know you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
and it's a
I don't
world
know
that
how
you
they
believe in.
yeah, so I honestly I don't know how they made it work, but I mean, it's magic I haven't felt from a superhero
Hmm,
film in a
hmm,
long time.
hmm,
So,
hmm.
and
Same,
so
same.
kudos to everybody that pulled this off because it made me feel like I was watching the Christopher Reeve once again and I believed in the magic and I believed
Yeah.
that he could fly, and kick all these people's asses and um it was great. It was great. But go
And just be oh, sorry, keep going, keep going.
yeah, and just
Oh,
finish your
just be and
sentence.
just be a good person. It's just like one of those things that I thought
Yes.
was so, like, simple, but beautiful at the same time. It's just like this whole, uh, theme of the film where who that which is Superman. Superman is supposed to
Yeah.
be a good I mean, the first Christopher Reeve movie, it starts out like Superman starts out literally saving a cat from a tree, you know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like, that has always been the character. The character is
Yeah.
a good person trying to do good and
Yeah.
save the world because with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Even though that's a separate franchise. But
But it's fine.
and the
It applies.
fact that the like I was saying at the beginning that the usual suspects are upset with this movie because of the thematic and political themes that it was tackling, which I was also surprised by the fact that James Gunn went where to the places that
Yeah.
he went in terms of like his political commentary. There, I was very surprised by, but in the in the framing of a Superman movie, I'm just like, yeah, like Superman would do
Yeah.
the right thing, and the right thing isn't complicated, you know.
Mhm.
So what did you think, like coming into it? Because I had remember when I was going into it, seeing posts online about people being like, "Oh, this movie's very pro Palestine and very political and like something that I would not have expected in our climate and much less from James Gunn Superman movie for some reason.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I was just like, oh damn, like they went hardcore into some of these places. So
Yeah.
did you feel that? How did you how did that resonate with you as you were watching it?
So, as you know, I'm not big on social media, so I didn't really know all that much about what was going on. I did see some people complaining about that it was like woke because it talked so much about immigrants and the
Which
immigrant's journey and James Gunn being like Superman is a literal alien.
yeah.
He is an immigrant. How can I do a Superman movie without talking about the
Hmm.
immigrant's experience? I mean, the things that people complain about, oh my God. I mean, Superman has been around forever, and you all know that he is an alien. He is not born in the United States,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know. So all of you haters out there that have an issue.
And he's always been I mean, and one of the things that I always love about that is then people bringing out the receipts from, like, the original comic books from back in the day, or just, the frames being, like, Superman talking about the good things about immigrants and how the country is
Yeah,
made stronger by them and all these things, it's like that narrative, or the clips from all the TV shows from Dean Cain, who
right.
Dean Cain's a MAGA guy now, but he was talking about against them, he was like, You said the same things in your show. Here are the clips from it." Eh
Yeah,
so it's like one of these things where clearly people don't understand the things that they love, or just willfully are revisionists, right? In
yeah,
terms of the messaging that these things have always had, because comic
mhm,
books on the whole, especially like all these characters that we love, like Superman, like the X-Men, like
mhm,
I'm blanking out, but all these characters have always been kind of beacons of kind of progressive
Yeah.
and value based ideals, and to pretend
Yep.
otherwise, it's baffling.
Yeah. So that was kind of a shock to me. I was like, "Hey, I can't believe this argument is actually even occurring." Um, but yeah, I was really happy with the film that it did not ignore, what's happening around us and the historical moment in time. And, the fact that, like you said, taking action is not hard. It's all the political things and shenanigans behind the scenes that make everything so much more complicated, all the red tape. And Superman was just like, I saw a problem and I went and tried to solve it.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
do, however, like seeing both sides of it.
Yeah.
So here comes in Lois,
Yep.
who I
Yep.
thought
Yep.
was
Incredible.
great.
Rachel
The
Brush. I can't say her last name. She was incredible as Lois.
It was so amazing. It was so fun to really see a smart, witty Lois that is up there with Superman, because I love that too. That we didn't have to go through the whole her finding out
Mhm,
that
mhm,
Clark is
mhm, mhm.
Superman. She already knows. She's up to par to having the discussions, the hard ones with him. And by the way, great sexual chemistry between them. That
Yes.
was that was
Yes.
amazing.
Yep. Yep.
Like you believe them as a couple. I've always
Yes.
kind of had trouble sometimes, especially in the live actions, to buy them as an actual couple.
Mhm.
And I'm sold on these two completely. But that whole scene where she's interviewing him as Superman for the first
Such a good
time,
scene. Oh my god. I
and
was so
him,
tense. I was like in my seat, like, oh my god.
what's what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And and him being like so naive about it at first, and her
Mhm.
being like, this is a terrible idea because I'm not gonna treat you like my boyfriend. I have journalistic integrity.
Right.
Thank you, Lois. And asking the hard questions and him freaking out sometimes and pausing the machine, being like, but do you actually think he had good intentions? Of course I don't, but I don't know that he didn't. We have to ask the questions.
Right.
You can't
Right.
just
Right.
go half cocked, knowing how powerful you are, and not think about the international consequences of everything that
Mhm.
you do. So it was so good. I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved the interaction. Yeah.
It was incredible.
Mhm.
It that scene specifically, and when he goes back to Kansas and sees Ma and Pa Kent,
Oh yeah.
like those two scenes to me like were the anchor of
Yeah.
Clark's humanity, as
Mhm.
Superman, in a way that that I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but in a way that we kind of never got, in
Mhm.
the Man of Steel, and the Snyder films. Like here, we just see Clark feel things,
Yeah.
feel, and the conflict between, not necessarily the conflict of trying to do the good things, but of being disappointed that doing the right thing is somehow be, making him seem villainous to some people, namely Lex and all those things. But yeah, I agree, because then it's like those two halves of him, like the one that's
Mhm.
him as a human partner for Lois, but then him
Mhm.
as a son of different worlds with Ma and Pa Kent, which I thought was a very interesting and clever change that they did to the canon a little bit, with, spoiler alert, Jor-El, played by Bradley Cooper, and his message to his son, when we see the first half of the message being the
Yeah.
traditional Superman message of like, oh,
Yeah.
be a leader to them, inspire them, all these things, and then the surprise
Yeah.
change that James Gunn did, where the second half of the message is about ruling Earth, which I thought there was gonna be like at the end being like, oh no, it was actually doctored, but the fact that it was like, no, it was a
It was
real,
true.
it was
Yeah.
actually
Mhm.
true, and I thought was brilliant, because then it just makes Superman more relevant to,
Yeah.
as a hero of Earth, because he chooses Earth, and he chooses the
Mhm.
part that resonates with him about what goodness is, based not on what some distant parent from elsewhere is telling him, that's
Yeah.
long dead, but like from his actual parents that love him and raised him and like care deeply for him. Oh my god, I'm kind of getting emotional talking
It's
about it,
it's
because
so
the
good because
scenes
it's
were
so
so
well
good,
done. Mhm.
and I was just like, man, it's so good. Like that scene with him and Pa Kent, uh, uh,
Mhm.
incredible. And then the movie opens with him in the Fortress of Solitude, seeing the message that makes him happy, which is the message from his adopted parents telling him to be good. But then the movie ends with just him smiling, being a punk rocker, seeing all the videos from him growing up, and like the thing
Yeah.
that actually makes him good. It's not someone telling him to be good, but it's just his connection to people and love and genius, perfect, chef's kiss. I
So
felt
good.
things that I haven't felt in a minute, especially in this dumpster fire of a world we're living in.
Yeah.
To kind of
hmm
end the movie like that with just a
Him
kid
watching his
smiling.
childhood
Yeah.
films and yeah, it was so good. I mean, I loved what Pockhead says that, it's never a parent's place to tell what their children should be. We're supposed to just give them the tools and they can make a fool of themselves all on their own.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was so touching. I cried a little bit, he's saying, Pockhead being like, I don't care about what, you know, your Kryptonian parents thought you should be. I could not be more proud of you,
hmm
and that,
Oh man, gets
uh,
me every time. Parents being proud. Oh, gets us. It gets us. Oh, we
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
We get
So I think
get
it's
emotional up in this.
like you were saying, I think it's that first time that we've really seen him have that connection with his, human parents and why he is who he is. And like you were talking about how the Zack Snyder one was kind of all about destruction. And this one, you see him all the time going out of his way to prevent destruction as much as he
hmm
can. Like, and you can see it with the interaction with some of the other superheroes. That's like, but what are you doing? Why did you stop? We have the kill here. It's like, but no, but don't kill him. But we can kill him in a humane
hmm
way. We can figure out what happened. We can stop the building from, falling on the little girl. So
Ah, he saves a squirrel. Ah,
he saves the squirrel. I know.
saves a
I
squirrel.
know.
Saves a little dog. I mean, it's like, oh my god, like how
Yeah.
so awesome. But to that point, it's something that I found interesting about this film too. It's there is destruction,
There's a
right?
lot. Yeah.
And when the pocket
Rift.
universe
hmm
or whatever the hell is tearing through Metropolis, we see buildings being destroyed, and we see when he's fighting Ultraman and everything, like knocking into buildings and stuff. But to me, it was framed
Differently.
completely different from
hmm
Man of Steel, where Man of Steel everything's just crumbling, and it's basically
hmm
everything's being decimated because of these two forces clashing against each other.
Yeah.
Here in this new Superman, all this destruction feels very intentional and like how Superman is trying to avoid
As much as
destroying as
possible.
much as
Yeah.
possible, and make sure that if something's being destroyed, like that scene with the save the cat moment, right, when the building's
Yeah.
falling down and he stops the building so that the woman can drive off. I mean,
Can
it's
get
like
off.
that. I mean,
That's Superman.
when you frame the destruction of the city that way,
hmm
I buy it as for Superman, because then
Yeah.
it serves to show us the strength of his character and not how strong he is. And there's a distinction there.
Ooh, I
And
like
Zack
that.
Snyder is about showing
Yep.
us how strong Superman is, but doesn't really delve into the strength of his character. And James
Love
Gunn
that.
really did. He did the cliche thing of having the nega Superman, with Ultraman, which I saw that uh,
A mile away, but it
twist
was
coming a
fine.
mile away, but it's fine. It's the first Superman. We have to keep things grounded to an extent, even though
I
this
mean, and
movie
it
is
still
not
kind of
grounded.
worked though, because you do Nega Superman, who's like an idiot, and then Lex is controlling him, which is
Yeah,
what Lex has always wanted to do. He wants Superman's powers combined with his own intellect,
yeah.
which is why he creates Superboy eventually. But it was a really cool dynamic to see how it's not just kryptonite that he's vulnerable to. It's
hmm
an actually well placed attack. I mean, he gets his ass kicked
Yeah, yeah. Which
a
I
lot,
appreciate. It. You can hurt him.
which is good. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like he's super overpowered. Yes, he has all these crazy powers, but if you're strong enough, if you're smart enough, he's gonna hurt. And he got hurt. Like,
Which is why I liked how the movie starts. It's just him getting his ass kicked. It's just
yeah,
like
and saying like he failed and got defeated for the first time. And he's going to continue to throughout the movie.
it's what Captain America says. He can do this all day. It's not how many times you fall. It's how many you get
How
back
you get
up.
up. Mhm.
So great. And I mean, I don't remember exactly what happened to Ultraman at the end. He goes into the black hole, I think, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
means that he can come back as
Bye.
Bizarro at some point.
Oh, that could
Maybe,
work.
I don't
Mhm.
know. I'm just spitballing here, but uh, let's talk about the supporting cast. We've talked about
Mhm.
Lois a little bit. We've talked about Ma and Pa Kent and Jor-El, and I forget his mom's name. Apologies. But we had
I think it's
a
Lara.
busy Lara L. Okay. Well, correct us in the comments if we're wrong.
Yeah, sorry.
We had a big supporting cast, especially from the Justice Gang with Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy Gardner, and Metamorpho.
And Metamorpho at the end, yeah.
And I was surprised. I was surprised by how well they fit into the story because they're there to support, but not to get in the way of.
Yeah.
And I thought they were used very cleverly, especially the Justice Gang, because they're not there to be a foil against Superman, but kind of contextualize him. Like, this is a place where meta-humans exist. We have a group going on that's a proto-Justice League, and we saw the Hall of Justice, which was amazing.
And I thought it was really well done, the Hall of Justice. It looked amazing.
It looked great. So I can only imagine once Batman brings in some new furniture. But but how did you feel? Because I was worried because when I saw Nathan Fillion with the dumb Guy Gardner haircut, I was just like, this is far too much camp. But it worked. It worked, and he was hilarious in the movie.
He was hilarious. I don't know if you know, but he's been voicing Hal Jordan, the other Green Lantern, for decades on the animated ones. So I was really surprised when I saw the trailer, and it wasn't the Hal Jordan Green Lantern. It was Guy Gardner, who's, traditionally a dick. So I was surprised. So I was kind of surprised that was this choice, but it makes sense. I mean, the Hal Jordan one is a way bigger character. We've already seen that character fail.
Yes.
Sorry, Ryan Reynolds, but he failed. Massive failure. And so I actually read somewhere that it was his choice to actually keep the horrible bowler cut. Yeah. And he was just like, that's what he looks like. We're keeping it. Or I'm playing around it. And he did. Nathan Fillion totally pulled it off.
And it gave us one of the better jokes of the movie when Lois Lane, like, oh, that haircut should be a crime or something like that. I don't know.
Yep. It was fantastic. But yeah, as were you, when I saw them in the trailer, I was like, oh no, they're going the Justice League failure, that they're trying to introduce too many characters too fast. And then you don't really get a sense of any of them. But I think they did a really good job because they're not like super huge characters that would kind of like take away. So, I mean, I'm very thankful that they didn't start, with Wonder Woman and Batman and all the big ones like at once. All of those deserve their own intros.
Yeah.
I didn't know how I was going to feel about Mr. Terrific. I thought he was one of the highlights, actually.
I thought he was going to be. I mean, I don't know anything about Mr. Terrific because I don't read the comics or watch the shows, so I didn't know anything about him. So when I saw him in the trailer, I'm like, what? What is this?
So I knew he was, but
MVP. He was MVP.
But I didn't know how he was going to work, and the delivery of his character is so great. And that fight with him and Lois, I think, is one of the best fights of the entire film. So
it was definitely very Guardians of the Galaxy coded.
I know,
because it was very Yondu Arrow action sequence, which is always a highlight of those Guardian movies. So I'm absolutely okay with it. Because it was great, but I was just like, okay, I can see a signature style here, but incredible, and I'm glad that he could shine as that character. I forgot the actor's name because he was in X-Men First Class, and he just didn't get to do too much, and they just almost immediately killed him off. So
they killed him off really early on.
So I'm glad that he could come back as another superhero that is integral to the plot, helps everybody, and it lives to show up in a new movie. So so kudos.
And it was cool how all of them had different ways of interpreting how they're supposed to be a hero. Like you have Hawkgirl and that scene at the end when she actually grabs the president of whatever country it was, and he's like, "You're never gonna drop me because you're a hero," whatever. She's like, "Oh, I'm not like Superman. Bye."
Yeah.
So it's all good.
It is all good. Like not everyone deserves justice. Sometimes people deserve vengeance, especially if you're willfully participating in the genocide of a group of people that are not able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I'm just talking about the movie. And the movie said all it needed to say about that topic, which I thought was interesting. I was going to say hilarious, but it's not hilarious. It was interesting.
And well done.
That James, extremely well done. I mean, because there was after they're celebrating, at some point, like someone has a flag that's red and green, and it's like that's not subtle. Come on, It was not. It was not the Palestinian flag, but it's the same color scheme. And I read an interview with James Gunn where he's just like, no, no, no. When I wrote this, it was before the conflict started, so it's not meant to be. And it's like, come. I mean, I know you have to.
You
say
really
that.
didn't do any adaptations.
Yeah, and like I know you need to say that because it's spicy, but come on, come on. It was too close to reality. Like the whole thing of a state that has a complicated political relationship with the United States because of what they stand for, but it's technologically inferior, and then a United States ally that's attacking said, I mean, it's like,
and we have to save them from tyrannical regimes. Yeah,
I was like, that's too on the nose, but well done, because we need to see the things.
We need social commentary.
Sometimes we need a movie to just simplify it and be like, hey, it isn't like what it isn't. Sometimes things aren't complicated. Sometimes killing people, I would argue, sometimes it's wrong. So I'm glad that Superman went there. I'm glad that there's still people that are brave enough to still make a statement in their films that will reach a mass audience, and hopefully audiences are willing and able, right, to accept the messaging and kind of reevaluate how they're connecting with the real world. And that's why I think film is useful, especially movies like this, because it kind of opens the door for a wider audience to be able to see things in a way that they otherwise might not have. So
right. So anyway, going back to that scene then with the kid lifting up the flag, wasn't it
inspiring.
So much better in context, like from what snippet you see in the trailer? It's like because
the emotions.
At first it's everybody together and chanting for Superman, and then everybody getting scared and running away and the flag falling, and the one little kid just grabbing it and lifting him by himself. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was just like,
it was so good.
And then Superman's still in Metropolis. I'm like, he's not gonna make it. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I know. And then Guy Gardner, it's like, you got an upgrade.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Of course he would say that. I mean,
and then just like hitting all the enemy tanks with just like middle finger. I was surprised that they got away with doing so many of those for a PG-13 movie.
In a Superman. Yep. But yeah, man, I was really worried when I first saw the visual of Guy Gardner, but Nathan Fillion really pulled that off, and he was like really funny. And he's a dick, but he's a hero too. So heroes come in different flavors. He does the right
thing. But he does the right thing, which at least for now is kind of what we need. We need people to do the right thing, and because there's not a lot of that going on.
Now on the opposite side, Lex Luthor. What did you think?
Nicholas Hoult is always incredible. It's one of those things where I'm glad that he didn't, because I read that he actually auditioned for the role of Superman. And I'm so glad that he didn't get it, because I don't think he would have. I don't think he has the physicality for Superman. Although,
aside from the fact that wanting to be Superman and not being able to be Superman is the most Lex Luthor.
It is the most Lex Luthor thing. That's true. Absolutely true. Good point. Maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe this was a Machiavellian thing that James Gunn did. It's just like, let's make him audition for this, so that then we don't give it to him, so that then we can give him the.
Then he's Lex.
And then he's Lex. And he was. I mean, he was incredible. I believed it. Like the intensity that he brought to the role was absolutely pitch perfect. Like I thought, I believed it. It's and especially with the speech at the end when Superman just confronts him after defeating Ultraman and everything, I thought was so poignant, because we've seen them, right? We've seen kind of all those billionaire tech bro oligarchs, people that think they're above everyone, they can do whatever they want because they, their opinion is the one that's right and everyone else is wrong. I thought was incredible, and now we have him, as Beast in the X-Men First Class films, and now he's Lex Luthor.
Luthor.
I'm excited. Yep. I'm excited to see where the character goes from here, because obviously Lex doesn't stay in jail. We know that. So, but what did you think of Nicholas as Lex?
I thought it was amazing. I think it's the smartest version of Lex Luthor that we've seen in live action.
Yeah.
The Zack Snyder one, I forget his name, but he was too cartoony. Oh god, he was so over top. He was too cartoony. It made him unbelievable. And in the original ones, it was Gene Hackman, right?
Yeah. Gene Hackman,
I
and
mean,
then Kevin Spacey.
I know. And Gene Hackman was amazing, but I think he was used more as kind of a comic relief kind of character in the original ones. And like you said, it's always been kind of that real estate issue, which I mean, he was doing here. It was a real estate thing.
Yeah, it was,
but in a much grander scale.
Exactly. It's like while I defeat Superman, I can also do this other thing. It's not like with this thing I will defeat.
I know, but you can see the insane level of intelligence that combined with recklessness.
Yeah.
Because, he created a pocket universe, but didn't really care about the consequences and almost destroyed the entire world in the process.
Which is the most, Elon Musk thing ever, right? So it's like, oh, I have all this technology and knowledge to do whatever I
can
want.
Do it.
And
I don't have to think about the consequences. I can just do it.
And I especially love the fact that he keeps ex-girlfriends prisoner in the pocket universe, because I'm like, that's the most toxic masculinity thing ever.
So they can't talk about me.
Exactly. A woman that discovers that you're a bad guy, and now you have to silence her. It's the most, I mean, we see it all the time, right? We see it
by literally locking them in a pocket universe. Yeah.
And
because if they could, they would do exactly that. They would.
They would. I mean, they do worse, I think.
Yeah. But the level of and just like dedication to just watching Superman constantly, to the point that he can map out what his moves are and anticipate everything that he does, and roam the earth for like the one Superman hair that was left somewhere so he can create clones. But I did love something about this Lex, that he's more self-aware than the other ones, I feel like, because I mean, Superman calls him out right away. It's like, you're just jealous. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm jealous. I'm not dim. I recognize that. It's just that just makes it a better motivator to kill you, who by your greatness are destroying humanity. It's just like this whole, some people find the strength in Superman to give them hope, but Luthor was always like, no, he's just diminishing humanity and making us look weaker, which is just so insane. And the fact that he was willing to destroy half of Metropolis, including his own building, because he had a safe way to get out of it. And I do love that the one employee.
Yep.
I know. But I do love that he had that one employee who was like, please stop. And then when Mr. Terrific shows up, he's like, I know the codes are right here.
And Mr. Terrific is like, I know where they are.
I don't need your help. But yeah, I think it was really great. It was really great. And like you were saying at the beginning, I was worried when they started showing the portals. I was like, boom tubes? Are we going dark side already? I mean, that's a little extreme. And then you find out it's about the pocket universe. But the design of it was so good. And then the interaction, I mean, seeing Superman at his weakest, but still trying to help, even in a situation like that, I thought it was really great. And then getting, actually helping out and gaining a new member of the Justice Gang. But then,
which
people
was
being
hilarious.
people.
It's like, can I? You're too weird to join us. The Justice Gang? That's a great name. You're in.
You're in. I know. But then assholes being assholes, the other, prisoners being like, oh, you're going to get us in trouble. Security. He's helping. I mean, you see somebody actually trying to help you, and your first instinct is to betray.
I mean, that's kind of what society kind of is. Like fear is a hell of a drug, and you will act against your self-interest if the people that are oppressing you make you fear that, and make you feel comfortable in your cage. So I totally believe that, because it's it happened in during World War II in Germany. Like neighbors would snitch on
turning again.
So it's one of those, and it happens now. Like there's people that are calling ICE on their neighbors and stuff like that, and are
well, not just ICE, in abortion cases too.
Yeah, 100%. So it's one of those things that it's in a pocket reality, pocket universe, pocket reality, whatever the fuck it's called. But it's happening in our reality now. So it's one of those things that I kind of really enjoy seeing, like those things that are reflections of reality, but in a hyper, in a hyper reality. So good. Superman good. Period. I saw some people being like, "Oh, Superman mid," and I was like, "No, Superman good."
It's good. It's good. It's fun. It's bright. It's beautiful. The use of John Williams' original Superman theme is gorgeous. Aside from all the other things I did with the soundtrack, which I thought was great. The costuming was fantastic. Acting was good. Interactions between the characters were good. It wasn't afraid to say the important things that should be said in a Superman movie. So yeah, I was really, really happily surprised. And now talking about it, I'm excited about it all over again. I kind of want to watch it again.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Like I was listening right before we started recording. I was listening to I'm a punk rocker, you know, the song that they close the movie with. I mean, it's like, oh man, so good.
It's
So
so good.
so good. And I just want
Oh, wait, one last thing. Kara.
That's Jor-El's wife.
The cousin.
Kara,
the cousin at the end that we see, Supergirl.
The post credit scene at the end. Well, yeah, it was good. That was good. Millie Alcock looks amazing as Supergirl. So I'm looking forward to that one too. Like they released a poster saying, what was it? I remember that the poster was like she crossed out something from the tagline of the Superman poster to like make her own tagline. I thought it was just hilarious. So that'll be good.
It makes so much sense that she is the owner of Krypto and why Krypto is so insane. I mean, it was great. And he was like, I'm kind of worried about her partying. She can't drink here because yellow sun, you know, but she goes to planets with red suns so she can get wasted.
And that'll be fun to see, like an anti-Superman basically. That's just you know doesn't have the naivete and hope that Clark does.
I know, but it's so good. It's so good with Alan Tudyk as the intermediator, you know, and him being like, I should get a name. Thor's a name, so's Gary. It's like, okay.
Alan Tudyk once again coming in for the win as a voiceover for another supporting. I mean, he's the king of supporting characters.
So good, so good. But it was also great when Kara came. It's like, oh, she needs to discipline that dog. I'm kind of worried about her, you know. And they're supposed to not feel emotions, but
and I'm glad they did that at the end of the movie because that would have been in a Marvel movie. That would have been the post credit scene. And I don't know if you stayed. Spoiler alert, I guess. Another warning.
Yeah, I watched both. Yeah.
Those were sweet, but not the.
They were
not the especially the first
revealing ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him just sitting there with Krypto.
Yeah. I saw it. I was like, oh my god,
that's beautiful.
I just wanted to go back and just snuggle the dog immediately. But yeah.
Well, I mean, before you get to the last one, honestly, when they showed that scene where we don't know if Krypto died or not. Even Hosbando was just like, oh my god, Superman, you need to go John Wick on Luthor right now.
We don't kill dogs up in this. And if we
and that's the one
we seek vengeance.
And that is the one scene where we see him like actually losing control when he goes to Lex and it's like, where's the dog? And you know, freaking out about it. But yeah.
Which that's justified.
100%.
Like,
agreed.
No, yeah. Like anyone,
you don't mess with a dog.
You don't mess with a dog.
No.
Especially one as cute as Krypto. Oh, that scene when he wakes up in Kansas and Krypto's just on top of him,
just
like hitting, like wagging his tail.
Yeah.
And all you hear is
I think the entire theater was like, oh,
so good. Oh my god,
so good.
Anyway, we could be talking about this movie for a long time because clearly we both vibed with it, but
I know.
We have to close things off. But before we do, we have Fantastic Four on the horizon, which is another movie that I'm also cautiously excited for because it kind of looks like it's. I mean, obviously it's not going to be Superman because it's a completely different kind of movie. But it kind of looks like it's also harkening back a little bit to the more colorful and campy aspects of some of the
superhero
these Marvel films. So is that one you're looking forward to in the same way that you were looking forward to Superman, or have you lost all faith in Marvel at this point?
The thing is, when I first heard about it and I heard about the casting, obviously Pedro Pascal, and I forget his name, the guy who's from The Bear, who's amazing.
Yeah, cousin, yeah.
So I was really excited when I saw that like first teaser and the fact that they went back to like the original costumes and then we're doing like an older era. But at this point, honestly, it's been promoted to death so much that I have no idea what to expect. So, and the first two iterations of live action Fantastic Four have been so bad.
So bad, yeah.
Like so bad that I I want to be cautiously optimistic, but the closer we get to it, the more I start to think, I don't know if I'm into this. Like, I don't
have
know.
hope. I have hope. I have hope because I feel like they know what's at stake. You know, they know that
Yeah.
Fantastic Four has been done twice already to to mediocre results, for lack of a better word.
And
So
this
I
is like
think
the next propulsion into like the MCU. If this fails,
exactly.
then
This
everything hangs on Doomsday.
and
And
I've been reading that allegedly Mr. Fantastic is going to be like the lead in Doomsday, lead like the film.
so
So
if this fails,
so we'll see. But I'm optimistic. I feel like
okay.
it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be good. I like Thunderbolts. I hated Captain America. Brave New World,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that
even
one
though I
was terrible.
wanted
I
to
still
love it.
haven't watched Thunderbolts. Which I do. I need to watch Thunderbolts, which
It's
was
good.
fantastic.
It's
Which
good. Like
I've heard it's good. But yeah, the Captain America was terrible. It was
so
terrible.
bad, so bad, so much good,
Oh, it was so
so
bad.
much potential, and I was
Yeah,
rooting for it. I'm just like, let's go, Sam
I know.
Wilson. But oh
So
well.
bad.
But anyway, that's a
It's okay. We have
conversation.
Superman.
We have Superman to shine a light on us for the time being. But with that, I think this is a good spot to wrap things up in a quasi hopeful way. We love Superman, are hopeful for a Fantastic Four, and a little light in these dark times.
Yeah. So watch Superman. Really, it's worth it. You will have your opinions about it. It's not the perfect film, but
Hmm.
it's I think it's the best superhero film I've watched in a long time, and
Hmm.
it's the most fun I've had, and like more emotional that I've been in the theaters for a movie like
Hmm.
this. You know, summer blockbuster that I have in a really long time. So if you haven't watched it, watch it. If you hate it, let us know. I
Yeah.
mean, all opinions are worthy here, and yeah, we're definitely going to watch Fantastic Four, and we will chat about it as well.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so until
Absolutely.
next time, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you thought about Superman, whatever else is going on, Star Wars, Andor getting some nominations, everything you want to let us know or want us to talk about, just let us know in the comments. So until next time, may the force be with you.